first episode begins with the death of our main character, Tomokui Kanata. He was being stabbed by an unknown assailant. Day 1. Kanata opens his eyes and sees a goblin. This goblin, after noticing that Kanata's eyes are open, he goes on to name Kanata as well as a big goblin. Kanata is given the name Goburou, while the big one was called Gokichi. After the goblin has finished naming, he proceeds to feed Goburou a grub. Day 2. Goburou has opened his eyes and finds that he is surrounded by baby goblins. After holding up his hands, he realizes that he is one of them as well. This was enough to convince him that he died and was then reborn. He tries to sit up and ends up rolling. He then begins to cry. Whether he was crying because he died or because he became a goblin, we don't know. 3. Goburou has grown and is now capable of speech. He tests out his new body with a few little kicks. Goburou now has a second chance at life. Day 4. The elder goblin hands out some more grubs to the newly grown group of goblins. He tells them that it will be the last meal given to them and that from now on they will need to fend for themselves. After eating his portion of grubs, Goburou leaves their home and can see from their surroundings that he is in some place different from before. This world has creepy birds and plants that he doesn't recognize. Gokichi is not far behind him and he mentions that he has never seen outside before. After introducing himself, Goburou teams up with Gokichi to hunt for food. They come up with a plan where Gokichi will chase and lure the animals to Goburou, who is waiting in the trees. Once the prey is below the branch, Goburou will jump down and impale the animal. An impatient Gokichi tries to eat the rabbit but is promptly stopped by Goburou. After punishing Gokichi, Goburou breaks off the horn of the rabbit. Goburou hears a voice and is told that he has obtained a small creature's horn, which does confuse him at first. Goburou and Gokichi eat their rabbit. Day 5. Goburou and Gokichi carry on with hunting using the tactics they used the day before. This time, Goburou uses the horn that he has taken as a weapon. He breaks off the horn of another horned rabbit and again gets a notification like before. However, this notification says that Goburou obtained a medium creature's horn. They are tucking into the rabbit and Goburou receives a different type of notification. This time, he is told that he has learned the ability escape. He now realizes that the ability that he had in his previous life, absorption, is still with him in his new life. This ability was a rare ESP in his old world. It allows him to eat just about anything and lets him gain their traits. He also realizes that any other abilities he had in his past life has been reset. Goburou notes that it is nice having the absorption ability in this world as there are plenty of monsters lurking with incredible powers. Day 6. Goburou and Gokichi are approached by Gobmi, who is surprised to learn that they have been eating horned rabbits for the last couple of days. She tells Goburou that he is amazing and that Gokichi that he is just ordinary. Goburou invites Gobmi to join them for tomorrow's hunt. Day 7. It rained, so the hunt was postponed until tomorrow. Goburou decides to check in storage for anything that can be used to make a new weapon. What he finds in storage shocks him. As he is fashioning a weapon, he thinks back to the captured women he finds locked up in storage. It appears that these women were being used to breed more goblins. Gobji, the leader of the cave, approaches Goburou while he is making his weapon. He tells him that he might level up faster than expected. He shows Goburou how he can check his level, which Goburou promptly does and finds out that he is level 86. Gobji tells Goburou that if he reaches level 100, he will evolve into a more advanced life form. Goblins apparently age quickly and we find out that the leader is only in his 20s. Gobji leaves but not before letting Goburou know that the youngsters from the village will be arriving soon. He also mentions that Goburou will be able to see what an evolved hobgoblin looks like. The trio head out to hunt and this time we have Gobmi in the trees. She manages to hit a snake which is finished off by Goburou with one of his horns. The snake is taken out by Gokichi. They now have a new hunting strategy. Gobmi is back up, Goburou fights in the middle range and Gokichi is their forward. Gobmi is a little emotional as she was only able to eat fruit while she was hunting alone. Goburou receives new notifications. He has now learned thermography, venom resistance, search, and evil eye. Gokichi wants to eat the head of the snake, but Goburou tells him no as it is poisonous. Days 9 and 10 were used to prepare gear and to hunt. Day 11. The gang tried their hand at spelunking and ended up in a cave filled with bats. They start to run back out of the cave, but they manage to kill a few bats after Goburou uses evil eye to freeze them in place. Tucking into the bats gave Goburou the abilities echolocation, vamp up, and vamphilia. The good meals they are eating does not go unnoticed by some of their other goblins who are hungrily watching from the bushes. Day 12. Everyone is sleeping except for a few of the goblins. They get up and make their way to where Goburou sleeps. They try to attack him in his sleep, which doesn't go as planned as Goburou wakes up and beats them up. One goblin ends up dying from Goburou's venom. Gobmi has woken up, and after seeing that they tried to kill Goburou, she puts one of them in a headlock. Day 13. The gang decides to hunt a bigger target and end up taking on an orc. It takes a little longer than their usual hunts to kill the orc, but they do get there in the end. Eating the orc granted Goburou the abilities libido, orc language, and detect and analyze. Goburou tells Gobkichi and Gobmi that they should take the rest of the food back home. He gives the food to the goblins in a cave who are grateful for the food. Goblin reflects that he would never have considered helping out like this in his old world. He reflects that it may not just be his appearance that has changed, but also something else about him since he has been reborn. While sleeping, Goburou is notified that his level values have exceeded and special conditions have been met, and that if he wants to evolve, he chooses to evolve and goes back to sleep. Day 14. Goburou wakes up and he notices something is different. He checks his reflection and notices that he has evolved into a hobgoblin that looks similar to how he did in his old world. He looks over and sees that Gobkichi has evolved as well. Gobmi is impressed and tells him that they are both cooler and bigger. The leader is even surprised that they have leveled up already, as it hasn't even been a month since they were born. Gobkichi wants to see how much stronger he has gotten and challenges Goburou to a fight. They head outside and waste no time in fighting. They seem to almost evenly match, but Goburou wins the fight. Gobkichi tells Goburou that he is strong, and Goburou responds back that Gobkichi has the edge power-wise. Goburou senses that trouble's coming and calls out to Gobmi and tells her to get the crossbow that he made the other day. Horned rabbits are being chased by a pack of wolves. It's not long before the wolves catches and eats them. The wolves also manage to take out a passing orc. Goburou and Gobkichi are watching from the trees. It's mentioned that the wolves are perfect targets for them to test their evolved strength on. Gobmi shoots one of the wolves from the branch in a tree using a crossbow. Goburou and Gobkichi runs in to attack, with Gobmi shooting poison arrows from the trees. The gang manages to take down all of the wolves. Goburou tucks into the leader and learns wild hunt, hide armor, and order. They take the uneaten wolves back home for the others. Goburou tells them that they need to catch the same amount of prey that they had been provided. The group is surprised when they are told this, as they don't know how to hunt, so they ask Goburou to teach them, which he agrees to do. Goburou has made the decision to eat to get stronger, and then he can lead his comrades to a better future. Day 17. It's been 4 days since Goburou began training the other goblins. He heads into the cave and comes across an evolved Gobmi. That's the end for today's recap on Monster. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and please stay tuned for our next recap.